Aquarius, my name is Gregory Scott and this is your astrology forecast for June 2015. It's really nice to be with you today. I'm going to do this forecast a little bit differently. I'm going to focus more on the astrology side of things and I'm not going to draw a tarot card. So instead of that, I'm going to focus on the aspects and give you a more in-depth kind of view of what you can expect via the astrological influences. Okay, so I'm going to get started with the full moon, which happens on the 2nd of June, and that happens in Sagittarius. The full moon is always a time of kind of blossoming and things coming to fruition and really feeling a strong energy of something occurring, like something coming up outside of yourself. They did a study recently on people in prisons, and they found that the most activity, kind of good and bad, occurs during the full moon, and I really think that's very accurate because our bodies are a lot, I think it's 40% water, and because of that, you know, like the tides are impacted, we're going to be impacted by what the moon does. And this moon is in Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the sign of the centaur, of the explorer, of moving forward, of really exploring the world, expanding your skills, broadening your horizons. The interesting thing about that is that Saturn is sitting right next to it. And Saturn is a restrictive energy. It goes against the full moon. It kind of chokes things away. It restricts things and makes them harder. So we've got a full moon in Sagittarius that's trying to explore and expand, sitting right on top of a planet that's saying, don't expand, don't move forward, keep things small, look at what your limitations are. So for you, instantly there's going to be a feeling of frustration, particularly around your hopes and dreams and your personal relationships. Okay, so you may find this full moon a little bit difficult because what might come into focus for you is, well, I'm not exactly where I want to be with my life. What has gone wrong? But when that happens, if that happens, if you feel that energy, don't go into self-blame. Realize that it's because of the energy of Saturn and the moon that's bringing this up, because it's a friction between moving forward and not. It's that kind of push and pull. It causes tension, and that tension will manifest itself in your 7th house, 11th house, I mean, of hopes and dreams and relationships. Okay, so a couple of days later, that fades away, that energy, and what happens next is that the focus shifts completely because Venus, the goddess of love, moves into Leo in your 7th house. And the goddess of love is very comfortable in Leo because it's about being expressive, being expansive, and the 7th house is about relationships. So it's in a good sign, in a good house, and it means that you're going to be focusing on romance, on relationships, and that this is a really good time for romance and relationships. Your midheaven, Mercury, Sun, and Mars are all in the 5th house of romance and children and having fun. And then you've got the positive planet of Venus moving into your 7th. So really, Aquarius, it's interesting that at the beginning of the month, a couple of days ago, you felt like things weren't going right. And now things are almost flipped. And things become super, super fun. You've gone away from Saturn completely, and you've completely outweighed it by enjoying yourself with the people in your life. And really, you know, getting all the benefits of what, you know, that relationships can bring. Doing things together, letting your hair down, laughing until you cry, just being stupid together, having great sex, enjoying yourself, going for a nice meal, telling jokes, all of the fun stuff, you know, that's got nothing to do with Saturn. So it's almost like the full moon was a one-time event that you then really compensate for as June progresses. Now, Jupiter, the planet of good luck and good fortune, is in a sextile aspect, I can't say that, sextile aspect, which is 60 degrees away from Mars. And that happens for the first 2 weeks of June. Okay, so Jupiter is good luck, Mars is drive and desire, If there's a sextile, it means that the two kind of help each other and they are quite harmonious together. So the first 2 weeks of June mean that your relationships and your desire to be in a relationship and your desire to have fun in relationships is going to be really strong. So I would suggest to you that you surround yourself with people. If you're in a relationship, plan something together, do something fun, go to a theme park or something. If you're single, go on dates, meet someone that you actually enjoy spending time with, and the potential to meet someone like that is really, really great. Because when these planets occupy that side of the chart, they bring that about. I mean, they could be anywhere. They could be in spirituality, they could be in work, they could be in communication, but they're not. They're in romance and they're in relationship. And they're all very positive. Now, Saturn, going back to Saturn, actually trines Venus at the same time. So from the 31st of May until the 12th of June, so one day longer than Jupiter and Mars are. What that does is it gives real structure to your emotions in terms of your working life. And then in your relationship. So you're pretty certain about how you feel, you're pretty certain about what it is you want, you're not questioning it, you're not crippled with self-doubt, you're really in a good mood, so to speak. You're really just looking to have a wonderful time, and you're enthusiastic, you're happy. So first 2 weeks of June, I would encourage you to speak with lots of people, to get yourself out there, not to sit at home by yourself, because you really have a knack for inspiring other people, and you're really going to be a lot of fun. So it's going to be really nice to have you around. Mercury comes out of retrograde on the 12th of June, and Mercury retrograde makes communication more difficult. It comes out on the 12th of June, which makes it much easier, but not only does it come out, it comes out of retrograde in the sign of Gemini, which is what it rules. It's very, very comfortable in Gemini, and it's in the 5th house of fun and relationships. So you're going to really, this is going to be like a dam bursting rather than just communicating better. And I think that fun level in terms of your romantic life is going to skyrocket even more. So this looks like a fabulous month for you in terms of dating and just letting your hair down and having fun with people, and it looks awesome. There's also an element of gaining some knowledge here which could benefit you long term, because your midheaven is in Gemini. So if you do meet someone, the information that you get, it could open up something. So it could be that you meet a concert pianist or something and you've always had an interest in music, or that you meet an electrician and you've always had an interest in that. So it means that the relationships actually add something to your working life and open your perspective in that direction as well. Venus sextiles Mercury between the 8th of June to the 13th of June. So I'm just kind of casting your mind back a week now. So the week 8th to 13th means that communication is done with love and with loving thoughts and loving feelings. So that comes across really well to people, and I think that's why you have so much fun, because you're being genuine and you genuinely have positive feelings and emotions towards others, and they can sense that. You know, if you go into a situation and you're all smiles and you're friendly, but you don't really mean it, you resent the people, or you're depressed, or you're angry about something, people can pick up on that. And it's not just that the eyes are smiling, people can just feel it, okay? So that's not the case for you. You're in a genuinely good place, and you're really, really just loving the process of life and meeting new people and all of that stuff. Now, some of the outer planets are making an appearance here as well. Pluto, the planet of rebirth and regeneration, is in a square aspect with Uranus, the planet of chaos and the unexpected and miracles. Now, a square is 90 degrees apart when the two are like that, and it causes real friction and tension between them. And these two have been in that placement for a long, long time. The outer planets move very, very slowly. They've been in that square aspect since March 2012, and they actually come out of that on 13th of June this month. So it's a big deal, okay? And what they've been causing, the way that's manifested itself for you, that square, is Pluto's in your 12th house of spirituality. Uranus is in the 3rd house of communication in Aries. And for the last couple of years, I really feel like you would have had a desire to really find a way of communicating with a higher power or with the universe or spirit in some significant, meaningful way. And I really feel that you've worked at that. And that you've tried to find a way to be comfortable being guided by something larger than yourself. And I think you've been on a spiritual journey. And that's really interesting because 2012 was that big year when, you know, people said 21st of December was the end of the world. And all of that was going on. And then afterwards, there was a real shift in energy for a lot of people. People became more spiritual. People started to understand things more clearly, and the veil really became thinner. I really believe that. And you've been on that journey, and the fact that that square comes to an end now on the 13th of June really means that you can relax out of that a little bit. And what that tells me is that you feel like you've made enough progress now. That square will come back over time. These are really large outer planets, so they move very slowly like this, back and forth, and one's moving away, it'll come back. So that'll return. But the thing about that is that you can take a little bit of a break now, because I think you've reached the next plateau, and you can kind of relax knowing that you're on the right path, on the right journey. I mean, no one's telling you to do this. It's just something that I think you feel within yourself and that you've been moving forward on. Now, the other thing that's to do with a really large outer planet that moves very slowly is Saturn. And Saturn has moved into Sagittarius in December 2014, and it stays in Sagittarius until December 2017. Okay, so 3 years, that's a long time. The only time it changes is when it retrogrades for 3 months over this summer. So it retrogrades on the 15th of June, and it stays in retrograde until the 18th of September in Scorpio. Okay, so it moves back into the sign of Scorpio, which it occupied before. And what that does is it puts the brakes on the kind of emotional side of things. It happens in your 10th house of career, and the way that could manifest itself is that at work you start to really just focus on the work, and you kind of shut down the personal side of things a little bit. Now that's not necessarily a bad thing, but just be aware of that. That, for instance, if someone does kind of express some emotion at work and you've kind of detached yourself from that, it could cause you to kind of react in a negative way, or not to have any compassion or understanding for that. So just kind of tune into that a little bit and realize that you do pull away emotionally at work specifically a little bit, and that you could add a little bit more into it. Because you can make friends with the people at work. You know, just because they're your colleagues doesn't mean they're, you know, there just to talk about work. You can also just expand that side of your life a little bit as well. So look into that too. Now, the new moon occurs on the 16th of June, and that's in Gemini. And again, that's in your sector of romance and relationship and having fun. So there seems to be this real dichotomy for you, Aquarius, this month between work as serious and romance and relationship as fun. And you've really decided that you want to have fun and you want to enjoy people and all of that stuff. But there's no need to kind of cut one out for the sake of the other. You know, you can pursue your romantic interests to go on dates and things. You can still be very connected with the people at work. And I think the important thing is to create some balance between the two. So don't isolate or remove yourself at work for the sake of other things. Kind of keep both channels open. And one doesn't need to take away from the other. Jupiter conjuncts Venus on the 17th of June, again in your 7th house of relationship. Venus is the goddess of love. Jupiter is the planet of good luck and good fortune. They're both in Leo in your 7th house of relationship. It means that relationships are going to blow up and get even better. That stays there the way it is until the 14th of August. So this is an amazing, fabulous time for you in terms of your relationship life. Not only that, it's not just family relationships or business partners or anything like that. The added bonus is that romance is on fire for you. Okay, so you've got a lot to look forward to in that sense. And Jupiter also trines Uranus from, or it has trined Uranus from the 3rd of March and it stops on the 22nd of June, okay? So what that means is that there's been a real sense of restlessness in terms of the way you communicate. You become much calmer now and you become much more self-assured around the time of this 22nd of June, and you're not so frantic and you're not kind of all over the place and here and there and everywhere. So that's good. The romance remains, but a sense of calm kind of comes in, and you really just start to enjoy other people and you don't question things so much and you're not as self-conscious. Now on the 25th of June, Mars goes into Cancer, and that's in your 6th house of work, and it conjuncts the Sun. So the focus now is a little bit different. You're still interested in relationships and communicating with those, but it's almost like work has become a bigger, it almost feels restrictive at the end of the month, and it almost feels like it's holding you back from doing things you want to do. It's like work is interfering with your sense of fun, and it's making you feel a little bit frustrated. So again, you can avoid this if you balance things out at the beginning of the month. If you keep it, if you inject some fun into your work, then you won't feel like you're missing out when you're at work or you're in your romantic life or your romantic sector. So it's about, for you Aquarius, it's a real sense of balance and achieving that this month. Okay, so I hope you found that useful. If you would like a private reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. Remember to subscribe to the channel, and you can also send me an email. The address is readings@gregoryscott.co.uk. Have a wonderful June, and I'll speak to you soon.